if you haven't participated in one of these before, we would just want to give you some context as to the how and the why. We are tackling specific business challenges brought up by our community and creating opportunities for us to ideate, to workshop, and hopefully come up with some new concepts and spark innovation as we continue to grow. But with the process that we've created, and you'll see an outline momentarily. Lorna, why this challenge? Why now? And how are you seeing this play out in particular with your team?
When the topic was going to be the art of strategic listening, I brought a use case that I think pretty much everyone could have experienced at some point, regardless of where they are. And if you think about a typical leadership meeting, there's a packed agenda, decisions fairly urgent, there's agile, releases, stuff like that. And there's possibly pressure to make a decision in that meeting before the end of the call. I've been in this circumstance more than once, obviously. And then you're in there and a leader asks, are there any concerns? And silence follows, right? Which they take as agreement.
It's a fast-paced world. Leaders aren't always available to listen to their teams, and they often make assumptions and base their decisions on those assumptions. And that really overrides any chance for listening, leaving teams and people like yourself feeling really unheard, especially during times of change. This is the worksheet that we've been using in all of these sessions. And the beauty of it is it really just walks you through rapidly thinking about the business challenge. You don't have to have all the answers yet, but this will help prompt thoughts and help you organize those thoughts to bring this case forward to others.
While the importance around listening and tapping into burnout and what's not being said, but also just using the opportunity to kind of like reset, how do we work together? Like, how do we move forward from what got us to where we are today isn't going to help us going forward amid all of the rapid change, transformation, information overload, and expectations. And so, just taking the moment in time as a team to come up with some new guiding principles around how do we communicate, how do we work, how do we share information, and how do we process.
What you found for signals and shared signals and what you're hearing in the business when you're up against a challenge like the one we've outlined.
When we looked at the lens of the leader, the signals that we identified there was that, how does the leader respond to the group when the group responds back? So if there's silence, what does the leader do? Do they just, wipe their hands and move on and say, okay, we're good, let's keep going? Or do they engage people? Do they know where the risks are and start asking people to respond or come up with some pointed questions? Or do they get frustrated, by people asking questions, which could shut down the whole conversation or could create issues?
And I've been talking to some of the clients a lot about engagement, and the definition of engagement that we've had, it was more, well, we'll check about the overall sentiment of people every couple of years, which gave us some data and maybe trending that you can figure out how to, as a system, approach it. But it doesn't help the teams and the managers, and with the pace of things happening, only having that thermometer once every so often is not enough, right? To get the real-time data that comes from the thermostat.